wash out the bowl.
You
with
don't
soap or
even
something
need
like
to
that.
accidentally or intentionally kill a goldfish. You wake up one morning and that sucker's dead. I swear goldfishes are suicidal.
You got something you want to get off your chest about a goldfish, man?
Finding Nemo was a bunch of crap, okay?
AoA, that's a triple play. New episodes, I couldn't wait. Yeah. Open your mind at the first gate. Press play, no need to debate. AoA, check me out. Look, plugged in, you can catch the hype. Golden Dawn, how we follow the light. Anime like life, married to it, my wife.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages? Welcome back to the AoA show. I'm your host, as always, Ian, along with my boys Isaiah.
Yo, yo, yo.
And Gavin.
What is Gucci shoes?
And today we have a very special guest. You've probably seen him on YouTube before, making all the latest and greatest content on anything there is to do with manga. Only the good ones, though, and more particularly, one of my favorites, Berserk. Today, we have joining us, the Masked Man. What's going on, my friend? How you doing?
Not much. I'm great, honestly. Thank you so much for having me.
Dude, pleasure's all ours, and I'm
Absolutely.
excited to talk about your channel, what it is you do, because I'm not gonna lie, I was like kind of low-key fanboying a little bit when we were there. I was like, dude, because I told you before we even started recording, I've been watching you for a little while now, and I love the takes and opinions that you have on not only Berserk but manga, because I think you do it from an approach that isn't like, you clearly do your research, when it comes to it. You're well-spoken. And I think it's interesting how you were telling us Isaiah and I, when we were on the phone with you the other day, how you generally don't script on a lot of your videos. Can you go in, for people that don't know already, can you go into what that's like, and how that, maybe feels natural to you as opposed to running with a script and all that?
Yeah, so I think for me, not scripting just allows me to be a lot more genuine with what I say, and it forces me to kind of improve that ability to speak on the spot. That way, whenever I'm invited for, like this, a podcast, or if someone else wants to invite me for a non-scripted collab, it's a lot easier for me to have those kind of interactions. Because even back in high school, I did a lot of things where I would answer out loud, or we would have to do speeches, and I would always kind of do mine on the spot with little preparation. So there are certain videos that I have to go into the specifics, and in order to have those specifics well quoted and do all that right, those videos I script. For the majority part, though, during my reviews, I try my best not to spoil anything, at least with what I say, and or at least spoil nothing major. So I kind of spare myself of needing to go into the specifics. But overall, I just kind of like not having to script. It's very time efficient. It allows me to say what I think I need to say, and it forces me to slowly expand my vocabulary more and more with each video, which is what I hope I keep on doing. But that's just kind of it when I just don't script videos. I think it gives it more of like a casual feel, like if you're just talking to somebody, not watching some sort of guy who thinks he has a degree on this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you did say that you had scripted, I believe it was 2 videos, and ones that you were particularly proud of. For those people that don't know out there, can you rehash why you think those videos stand out, maybe amongst the rest, and if you think scripting helped you to a degree that you might not have been able to hit going improv?
Yeah, so the 2 videos is the Berserk timeline, and the other one is how to write the perfect antagonist. I think, I'm going to be honest, when I am scripting, I think that's when I'm at my best. Like, that's like me going second phase. That's me going, like, Super Saiyan. Because I'm now forcing myself to, because when you're typing out a script, you look at what you say and you retype it. You want to make sure that every word you're saying is efficient and is leading to the point you're trying to present. No time is wasted. And I'm particularly proud of those videos because I think they did the job well. For the how to write the perfect antagonist, I'm really proud of it because whilst researching that topic, it really kind of opened my eyes to specific things that are kind of essential when writing an antagonistic character, which only helps my analysis at the end of the day for future mangas. And then the Berserk timeline, because that was kind of the video that blew up my channel and the one that kind of put me on the spot when it came to being a Berserk YouTuber, as well as those are both videos that I put a lot of effort into editing, a lot more than I'm usually willing to do for some other videos. But those are definitely the reasons as to why I'm very, very proud of those.
Would you say that, would it be accurate to say that the the reason that you don't go so ham on those is because I know it sounds obvious, but maybe to people out there that aren't in this YouTube game on a level of like, okay, this is like past kind of a hobby at this point. Is it really kind of just like the work to reward ratio for you, or is it something else?
Yeah, that's part of it. There are certain videos that I can picture the thumbnail that I want. I see the title. I know other videos that are popping off because sometimes when you have a specific video on something, it helps boost the other video in the algorithm because of recommendations. And so there are certain videos that I'm like, okay, this one may or may not blow up. I don't know. Other videos that I'm like, this probably won't blow up, but I'll do it because I want to. And then there's the rare occasion where I look at, where I look at a video and I'm like, oh no, yeah, this one's going to do good. Like, I feel it. Sooner or later, this video is going to do well. And so, yeah, it is kind of a risk or reward ratio. With certain reviews, I kind of get the feeling that, this won't get the amount of reward to the amount of effort that I'm putting in for it.
So I gotta say, right off the rip here, if anyone's gonna sell this, give this pitch, it's you. And I've been trying to get Gavin in particular, because Isaiah's kind of, like he's his own free agent here, and so is Gavin. But Gavin has been dabbling with reading the Berserk manga. Gavin loves or likes Berserk. Sorry, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I got Gavin onto initially when the anime was a thing. I remember Gavin, he hit me.
This whole episode was about.
Of course, yeah. This whole episode's about. This is really us bringing the masked man on to have him convince everyone to read the Berserk manga right now, because nobody's gonna do it better. So Gavin, quick backstory: Gavin and I we all worked together for a while, and you came to me and you were like, yo, what should I watch? And I was like, yo, you got to give Berserk a shot just for the story in general. Like, it's not animated well, but like the point is that you got to get into this story. It's just that good. And I remember Gavin came to me initially and he's like, dude, I don't know if I'm feeling it too much. I go, wait, what are you watching? And he goes, oh, it's like Berserk 2016. And I'm like, stop what you're doing now. I was like, drop that shit. I was like, stop it right now. I was like, if you're going to watch anything, do the 1997 version or whatever. You can find it on YouTube at this point. And Gavin watched it, and from when we talked about it, it hit you really hard. And so from this point, he's sighing over here. And so by this point, I'm like, dude, you got to read the manga, because I didn't start reading the manga yet. And then I did, and I was like, this is just blowing me away. It's the greatest thing that I've ever read. And Gavin is like, dude, I'm going to read it. I'm going to do it. And then like, I'll talk about certain scenes from it. And he's like, dude, I really got to get on that. I'm like, you really do though. Like, you don't understand. So my friend, help me here. How am I going to convince this man to start actually reading the manga, and why should he?
Okay, so I want to say this, right? If you enjoyed the anime, the manga puts the anime to shame. Like, despite however good you think the anime is, I liked the 1997 a lot. It pales in comparison to the manga. And my argument for Berserk, why you should get into it, is its artwork is one of the best out there. As a visual manga, its creativity in the dark fantasy setting is rivaled by very few. If you were to list the best mangas when it comes to artwork, Berserk would have to be on that list. It also boasts probably one of the best written protagonists of all time in Guts, but he's not only well written, he's extremely relatable, and there are specific aspects of his character that you can connect to. Berserk also boasts one of the greatest, if not the greatest, antagonist in Griffith. So it's usually rare to see a series have not only a super top tier protagonist, but as well as a super top tier antagonist. A lot of the series that I've encountered is usually lacking in one or the other. And on the rare occasion, they have both. And the other thing about Berserk is the overall themes that it presents. Berserk covers and tackles so many things. So if you're a guy who likes action, Berserk's got it. If you're somebody who likes a love romance narrative, Berserk's got it. If you like seeing a revenge story, Berserk's got that. If you like seeing a story of someone moving on from that revenge, Berserk got that. Like, it's essentially something that it's an essential. Now, whether you like it at the end of the day, that's completely subjective. Everybody has their own tastes and whatnot. But if you really enjoy the anime, the manga is just going to absolutely blow you away. And you would think that where the anime ends off, it doesn't get better from there. But arguably, Berserk just does nothing but continue to add on top of it in the next two arcs. So if that doesn't sell it, I'll sell it to you like this. If they put a gun to my head and they asked me, what is the best manga of all time, I would say Berserk without any hesitation.
I can follow up with you there. Go ahead, Gavin.
So
All right. So this is where Gavin does his defense/excuses.
okay.
This is a nice segment. Like,
all right.
Can I ask if hiatus is one of them? I'm just curious. Is hiatus
No,
one
it
of
actually
them?
isn't. So
Okay, alright.
so there's actually two legitimate reasons why I haven't read it.
Fair enough.
First one that I just need to get out is I'm a lazy POS. And it legitimately
feel
comes
you.
down to like I'm about to read it and just so much stuff that we need to catch up on. I'm like, no, I'll do it later. So that is number one, and that's been the big one. Well, that's been one of the big ones. Number
legitimate,
two
I feel you.
is I have like a disdain hatred. Like I hate it so much reading mangas online. So Berserk, obviously it's free online, and I was reading it on my computer, but I actually hate it. Even on my phone, like we read manhwas, like we do live reactions and stuff like that, and it's cool and all, but like I just hate looking at a screen and reading like that shit, to be
Gotcha.
completely honest with you. And I can't tell you where I legitimately can't go into a Barnes & Noble anymore with my girlfriend because I have gone in there 3 times, and on every occasion I have held the volume 1 hardcover book in my hand, and I was like, I am buying it. And she's like, you asshole, it is $50. You put it back. and I'm literally, and I'm not even kidding. And she can contest to this every single time. She's like, if you go into the manga section, I will beat your ass. I'm like, it is my money. I'm gonna buy it. And she's like, it is $50. Get your priorities straight. And I'm like, okay, I bow to you, and I don't do it. And I have it. I've had it on my Amazon account. I literally have it in my Amazon account right now in my cart to buy. And like, I have to fight myself to not buy it because I'm just gonna blow a couple $100s on the whole series. And I know it's gonna be the greatest investment of my life because I already know how good it is because the anime literally made me depressed for 3 days, and I can't even imagine what the manga
Bro,
itself
hold
is
on,
gonna do.
real quick. I want to tell you. If the ending of the anime depressed you, the rest will be so satisfying. It's like, listen, dog. Look, here's the thing. No promises, but if it comes down to it, because I was thinking for the 100,000 subscriber, I would just do a giveaway of the Berserk collection. Screw it. I'll make you the winner, dog. Just so you could get on it. Like, I will send
This man
you,
said, I will
bro,
come to your house.
I don't
will
own
read
the
it to you.
Listen, I don't own the physical volumes yet myself, because I don't want one of my family members picking it up and then disowning me. So, like, trust me, when I'm out and living in my own place, I'm gonna have like the deluxe and the normal volumes as well. But those are reasonable things. Actually, they're all things that I would argue are just, those are like the most legit arguments you could have, or like the most legitimate reasonings you could have. You feel me? Because if you don't like reading online, I'm not going to be like, well, bro, you need to spend $100+. I haven't even spent $100+ on any manga. And I do this for a living. So, like,
Bro, if
yeah.
that happens, my girlfriend can hit the hay, dude, and I'm coming to live with you.
The thing is, though, I want to clarify this because I've gotten a few comments where I've brought it up before and people got upset at me. It's a lot quicker for me to just read them online than to have to go to a store, buy them, wait to get the volumes over mail. And in the end, I'm also supporting the industry anyways by just promoting the product, period. So it's fine, all because I don't buy as few volumes, but thousands of other people possibly do. I think I'm doing okay. So just want to throw that out there for anyone who's like, wow, the masked man who reviews manga doesn't even buy manga.
Dude,
But
it's
yeah.
expensive, and like it adds up. Even like I wanted to buy The Promised Neverland. Each individual chapter is $10, and I'm like, bro,
wild.
there's 800 books. Like One Piece, there's 300 or there's 800 and something. You literally will spend like 10 grand just to read this book, and I'm like, bro, I can't just pull
No,
that.
that's
out.
not, that's
get-
not worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's like it's funny to me that people who watch, content of manga reviewers, anime reviewers, what have you, are like, wait a minute, so and so doesn't like pay for every show or book that they read. And it's like, dude, do you know how many books or shows I have to go through in a week? No, I can't. Like I can't. I literally can't. To review and cover the amount of content that we want to cover is just, I'd have to be rich going in which case I probably wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, right. It's wild, man. It's like, yeah, y'all want to get me to like 1 million subs, and then like the money will start paying for these volumes and stuff. I do have to say though, I think Well, number one, there's something to be said, right, about because I myself have grappled with the notion of buying the actual collections, like the nice volumes too. I got a couple of my buddies that I've gotten into Berserk. I'm like an infectious virus when it comes to this. I will literally go around and I'll be like, yo, what are you doing? All right, let's watch Berserk. Like I got like a lot of people in my local card shop play Magic the Gathering, and like they'll after hours type thing, the store's closed, and me and a bunch of the boys will be in there and they'll throw up the TV and we'll just like play something. And normally that's your shot. We could play stuff that, you know, a normal customer wouldn't be too comfortable seeing. And so he's like, all right. And so it was like a little before closing and he's like, yo, I want to watch some anime. What do we got? And I go, yo, put on Berserk. I was like, this is a crash course. We could even just watch the 3 movies. Like, that's cool. I don't care. I just need you to know this exists. And he goes, is it bad? Like, is anything going to pop on TV? And I look at him, I pause and I go, nah, like that, and he throws it on and literally threw it. He goes, and he's like screaming at me because like every 2 seconds it's just getting worse.
Because it's bad.
Yeah, it's getting worse and worse. But by the end of it, he actually just hit me up earlier, hitting me up over Messenger, being like, yo, did you see the new chapter drop? Which is something I'd love to talk to you about as well. But I was like, yeah, and he was telling me that they're doing this at an anime convention or something in Japan where they're having like their crowdfunding to try and make a huge statue of Zod. Which seems really dope.
That'd be dope, actually.
Yeah, that'd be really
I'm not gonna
sick.
Not gonna hold you on that. I was okay with that. I just really hated that they titled it The New Beginning because we all thought it was going to be their new anime season, a new anime, a new manga release schedule. We're all like, oh, The New Beginning, boys, this is going to be good. And then it's a Zod statue.
Yeah.
We're like, why would you title that The New Beginning? Out of all things.
For the exact reason of why you clicked it and watched it. That is why they named it that.
Yeah, dude, that's messed up. They're playing with people's lives out here. It's like,
facts.
don't get me wrong. I love Zod. I really do. He's a badass.
But I'd rather see him in the manga.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's like, bro, it's like, dude, I tell these guys, like, you know, they know we crack up all the time because I go, bro, do you understand? People have been born and died before this freaking story has finished. Like, this has spanned some people's entire lives. This story is older than all of us at this table and you at home. Like, it is insane. And so, like, for them to title it The New Beginning is like, you know, because these chapters are like gold, you know, like every time a chapter comes out, like the entire community is like, oh my God, the new chapter's out there, posting it, you know, it's like, you can't play with people's emotions like that, man. That's not right.
I mean, as YouTubers, though, we know better than anybody that like clickbait works, right? You title that shit a New Beginning, every Berserk nigga and their mom is gonna be like, "Yo, did y'all hear about this though? Like, share this on all your social medias because they're gonna do a thing." And it's like, they won.
Yeah, no, they got us good. They
Yeah.
got us to click, man. No, that's great. I think there is something to be said though to get back to the point of the like purchasing the you know, the actual volumes. There is something to be said about like, you know, having your favorite series and just invest, like not even just like investing for the money, but just like to have it. You know what I mean? And I think
Right.
Berserk is one of those, being that it is touted to have some of the best artwork in all of manga. Like, so if anyone out there, you know, who is a Berserk fan, obviously we're thinking of buying volumes to something, like there's something about, you know, like turning the fold of the page and just like seeing the work that has been put into this is just on another level, you know? And I feel like even online you know, I mean, I read it all online, you know, but just to mirror Gavin's point, like there is something to be said about it. And you're really getting the full experience when you literally have that book in your hand.
And that's the other thing, because I've always known that it's going to be amazing. Like if I read it, it's going to be my number one of all time. That's another thing I've contemplated, where it's like, if I'm going to do this, I want to read it in the greatest format possible, because I know it's going to be the greatest thing I've ever read. So I want that physically in my hand, like flipping through and wanting to cry, because like it's going to be amazing. So oh man, I'm just like itching right now. Oh, all right.
I actually have a question for you. So I know, Masked Man, when we talked earlier, you were telling us about like how, because you cover manga, like, you know, theoretically that makes the pool of content that you could do infinite, right? Because there are essentially infinite amount of manga. So what is it about, like, how exactly do you go about, and I know when we talked about it, you said that like some of it comes from like fan suggestions and feedback, right? You sort of look at the supply and demand pool and ask yourself like, okay, I see that this is what a lot of people are asking for, and there aren't a lot of, you know, videos about it, you know, that whole ratio. So I guess if you want to just talk quick about like what that process is like for you as far as fishing for content.
Yeah. So the thing is it's half and half. Part of it is me knowing the supply and demand ratio of it, understanding that this video will do well or not. I know that if I do a video on My Hero Academia or Tokyo Ghoul, those two videos are going to do really, really well. However, the other half of it is the motivation of whether I want to read the manga or not. And that always kind of changes and moves around. I'm like, I'm going to read this, but then something else catches my eye. And I'm like, you know what? No, let me read this. Because I don't ever want to get to the point where I'm only reading a manga because I have to. I want to read it because I want to. And that definitely plays into a large factor as to how I decide what I want to read. Another part of it is whether or not I think I can really benefit from reading it as well. That kind of plays into when I want to read it or not. But recently I've been trying to balance it out as I've been reading so many just top-heavy mangas, like ridiculously good quality, Real, Dorohedoro, Blame, Pluto, recently Akira. So occasionally I have to sprinkle some things that are a little more popular, but maybe not as of high quality, like a Black Clover or something like that. And so that's kind of how I go about picking it.
Yeah, that's so. I know you post videos once in a while about my 10 favorite manga. I know I watched one like a while back that you did, and like the list has been ever changing, obviously, like the more your, gadget belt gets bigger, as it were. So at this very moment, I'm curious to know, do you have like a top, I won't make you do 10, but you have like a top 2 or 3 right now?
Oh, my top 2 or 3 is actually stayed the same, and that's Berserk, Vagabond, then Pun Pun. Berserk, Vagabond, and Oyasumi Pun Pun. Those are my top 3 currently. So yeah.
All right, maybe we'll go a couple down the list then. Anything that's changed.
So anything that's
Ian
changed.
said, I don't know those shits.
I have. Let me see what I got here. Okay, this is what I have currently. Okay, this is my current list, and it's hard because whenever making a top 10, you get people. I just try to do what I want because I know regardless, people are gonna complain about something. Whether it's this list, you're just an elitist. I mean, what do you want me to do? Not pick the best stuff that I
Why
think
is your top 10 not my top 10?
Yeah, there's always that, and then there's people who are upset that something else bumped theirs out of the top 10. So then they whine recency bias. No, I'm sorry, this is just better for me than the manga I'd read before. Like, anyways, this is my 10 currently.
Okay, bet we got 10 out of them. Let's do this.
I mean, I got the top 20 currently.
10's fine. I mean, if you want to go to 10.
Hold on. I have the
do
top.
as many as you want.
Wait,
Listen,
okay,
folks,
I
still want him to be like, gotta read all 100 of my
No.
choices.
I'll do the top 25. This is hard. So I just want to clarify this. Everything in like my top 30 and up for me is either A or S. A or S tier. Like, these are all phenomenal mangas. I would recommend them to anybody. And many of these I split hairs. Like, it's really, really hard to split hairs on these. So I'm basically just asking to spare me, okay? So number 1, Berserk. Number 2, I have Vagabond. Number 3, I have Oyasumi Pun Pun. Number 4, I have Monster. At number 5, I have Real by Takehiko Inoue. At number 6, I have Pluto. At number 7, I have 20th Century Boys. At number 8, I have Kingdom. At number 9, I have Slam Dunk. At number 10, I have Blame. At number 11, I have Dorohedoro. At number 12, I have JoJo's. At number 13, I have Vinland Saga. At number 14, I have Akira. At number 15, I have Attack on Titan. At number 16, I have Parasite. At number 17, I have Hunter x Hunter. At number 18, I have Billy Bat. At number 19, I have Claymore. At number 20, I have One Piece. And then 21 would be Gantz. 22 would be Made in Abyss. 23 would be One Punch Man. 24 would be Kengan Asura. And then at my 25, this is where I would currently drop something like a Chainsaw Man. But that's my top 25. I was thinking of doing a top 50, not putting One Piece in there, just to really, no. I don't know why, but I just...
Say it.
No, One Piece is amazing, but I love the reaction I get from the One Piece fan base. Because they know I'm messing with them, because I've repeatedly said this is amazing. But at times I just love to see how mad they get when they When
You find out their manga's trash.
when it really isn't the okay, chill. Nah,
He goes,
Don't fall for it. Don't
He goes,
fall.
okay, chill.
He said, "Don't fall for it, masked man. You know what he's doing."
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what
I
he's
was like,
doing."
nah, chill, nah, but
Look, bro, I'll
yeah,
pour gasoline all the fuck over that fire.
yeah.
Wild.
So
Yo, I
Yeah.
saw so recently, well, sort of like within the past couple months, like I said, I was following you and I saw that a lot of people were asking you to do JoJo for the longest time, and
Yeah.
you finally caved and did it. I'm currently, and I think you posted your first video and you had said that you were going to talk about parts 1 through 7 because you were like midway through 8 or something like that. And like, some of your favorite Joe stars and all that kind of jazz. And your whole comment section had me rolling, dude. Like everything on your like first of all, that community is just hysterical on another level sometimes. I was wondering what your experience has been because JoJo is such I don't know if controversial is the right word, but like such a extreme thing when it comes to anime. You know what I mean? Like there are people that just stand it really hard. There are people that hate it to hate it. And I guess you could say that with any, class of or show or whatever. But I'm curious how your experience with the JoJo community was and you ranked it, I think 12 you said, or 13 on your, top manga list. So obviously it made some waves. What was your experience like with that?
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is an interesting thing as the way its story is composed is in parts, each part being its own unique story. And when it comes to the first 3 parts, that's when Araki as an author is at his worst, writing-wise, which isn't bad. But I also think part of JoJo's that people don't understand is the context in which it was created. Because a lot of us associate it with the anime, but JoJo's is actually really, really old. And so for the context of what it was able to do during its time, I don't want to say I grade it differently, but in a way I kind of do when it comes to those earlier parts when it comes to the manga, because we look at stuff like Devilman and Akira, and yeah, there are other things that take those similar concepts and improve upon them, but Devilman and Akira like shook the manga and anime world, and they kind of have an iconic status, as well as they're just quality stories. So with JoJo's, the first 3 parts, I liked it, but I couldn't really vouch for the writing, I would say, behind it all. Part 4 was great, and that's when JoJo's kind of really improved in a way, especially when it came to creating a different kind of antagonist. Part 5 was also really solid. 6 is a controversial one, and then 7 is when Araki is at his best, all across the board. So JoJo's is one of those things that when you take into account that they're all different stories connected by legacy and you combine it all together, it's nothing but impressive. It's one of those things that the only thing that might discourage people is the style of JoJo's, if that makes sense. Because it'll take what conventional formulas of writing do, but the way it expresses it is so it's bizarre, right? And that might be the turnoff. But I really enjoyed it, especially parts 4 and 7. I think those really hit the nail on the head. And then I think what really kind of drove it away for me was the way the fan base responded. Because I had heard horrible things about the JoJo's fan base, but they welcomed me in with open arms, Like they weren't toxic. They weren't as bad as I thought, which is what motivated me more to get into a series. It didn't shut off my motivation to continue to look into this and analyze it and take more away from it. Some other fan bases should learn that. But nah. But yeah, I liked the JoJo's. I think it's quality. Especially for what it's able to do with its cast of antagonists and the fights and the power system and all of that.
Yeah, I'm curious to know your thoughts on, because I am currently in the midst of part 7. I haven't finished it through or caught up yet, and a lot of people tout 7 as one of the greatest parts in it. So far, I really like the vibe that I'm getting. Yeah. So I'm curious though, more so to know why for you that part 4 was one of your favorites, because this is something that I actually hear a lot in the JoJo community. A lot of people really like part 4, and I liked part 4. a lot. And I think I appreciated part 4 after I was done watching it and then looked back on it, rather than just it in the moment, because I had watched, I started reading on part 6. I watched all the animated. That's how I got into JoJo. I was like, I got to know what these memes are about. Like, I just got to know at this point, because everyone's like, is that a JoJo reference? I'm like, I got to know. So I watched it. I loved it. Still do. But part 4, as compared to the other ones, was good. And it was definitely an upward trend. But like, for me, it was something along the lines of, I felt like your example before, where it was like, okay, you have to understand that these are totally different stories, right? And it's about legacy, which I think is a very good way of describing it. And that's why I think I appreciated it more after the fact. But I think in so much as watching it when I was, something that, I don't want to say turn me off, but that wasn't as, hype for me, was that I felt like it didn't directly correlate with like the overall timeline of like, okay, Dio's doing crazy crap. Like, we're going to, continue this fight through our generations. Like 4 for me was I guess you could argue 2 did it to an extent, but I think 4, especially coming off the heels of 3 in that fantastic fight, in my opinion, between Jotaro and Dio, like, now that we're like completely just secluded in this neighborhood, I didn't feel like the stakes overall, like for like the world, especially coming, off of, again, part 3 and like how the stakes were so high, hit as hard for me. It wasn't until after that I was like, you know what, this was actually a fantastic story. I don't think I was looking at it correctly. I'm curious to hear as to why you thought, amongst all the other parts in JoJo, that 4 stood out to you as one of the best.
So the thing is I will give you that. For me, one of the frustrations about JoJo's, and one of the things that I would love to see potentially done, especially with part 5, because part 5 is so disconnected from 4 and 6 in the majority sense. But I think for me, what's extremely important when it comes to a JoJo part is because it's disconnected, is what do you do with your part, right? I look at it as its own story, which helps, and then I look at the characters who drive this story, because that's what JoJo's is. It's a very character-driven story, and I will confess, Josuke is not my favorite. To me, he gets outshunned by like Koichi, who's a side character. You could argue, in fact, a lot of the Joe stars, they get outdone by their Joe bro. Which is a shame and for me, but so be it. But part 4, Kira, for me, Kira just, when you have an antagonist who's able to create conflict and pretty much pull the strings throughout the entire arc, as well as represent the themes of what your story means, it helps communicate everything so much clearer. Because Kira's meant to be this normal guy who, due to this fetish and this power he has, he's pretty much a serial killer, right? So they go from this grandiose world domination scheme that we basically saw also in parts 1 and 2. So Araki, I think, in 4 is trying to switch it up and give it a different pace. And when I first read part 4, near the beginning, it felt really, really slow, considering how 3 kind of like hits the ground running. But that final climax with Kira just really sold the part completely. So during reading, it's one of those things that you might be like, eh. But after reading it, I think part 4 is definitely one of the better written parts.
Yeah, that's very fair. I wanted to talk about your knowings and adventure with Naruto as an anime, and how it served as, we were talking before this, kind of an inspiration in a lot of senses as to, you said it was one of the catalysts for you starting the channel. Yeah. And obviously in being the masked man, you have this, this combination of Obito and the curse mark and all that kind of jazz. So it's clearly had a pretty profound impact on you and your channel. Not to mention we all stand it and could talk to it, because I could talk with you about JoJo and Berserk all day, but the fact is my 2 castmates here, in terms of Naruto, are definitely more up to speed in terms of all of us. So I was curious to know why, at least for people that might not know already, people that are coming on watching this video new and saying, who is this guy? Who is the masked man? How and why has Naruto had such a profound impact that it has on you?
Well, the first thing is it's one of the first animes I've ever seen, probably my second or third. And, you always have a love for your first series. But what was so special about Naruto back when I watched it was it it had so many different themes with his characters. And I brought this up before. I think it was in my tier list of manga. I feel like nowadays people kind of act like all Naruto was the war arc. Like if it didn't have amazing characters and characters who embodied such profound themes beforehand, like Kakashi, like Itachi, like Rock Lee, my guy, Pain. And I just learned so many things from observing the themes of these characters in Naruto. So many things that I think were translated into real life. For instance, Rock Lee's whole embodiment of just working hard and perseverance. You know, I understood that when I got into YouTube, I could make it big if I learned how YouTube worked and if I just stuck at it, you know? And I was kind of relentless with that. And then another aspect, I think, was with Obito's character, my favorite in the series. Definitely not the best, but he impacted me a lot as well because I kind of, you always see yourself in a character, and you never relate to the specifics, hopefully, of what happens to him. But this kid who is the parallel to Naruto, who grew up optimistic, thinking he could accomplish anything, and then, you know, due to circumstances that are really out of his control, he ends up feeling hurt, betrayed. He's angry, and he's so angry, but he's really good at hiding it. But there are moments where, you know, he snaps and he lapses, and it shows very violently and apparently. For instance, when he murders all of the blood he missed. Now, I've never been pushed to murder, thankfully. Like, I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to get at
no?
here.
Gavin has, right? Gavin, he's wanted
Whoa,
multiple
whoa,
states.
whoa. You're not supposed to tell people that information, Ian, all right?
Look,
You have a contract.
you're still young. Don't
Don't count yourself out yet. You never know.
Oh, my goodness. No, but yeah, it was one of those things where at the time, I could definitely see this whole chip on my shoulder, always having something to prove to somebody. And I think that's kind of what every character in Naruto has. No matter what way, in a way, they all carry this chip on their shoulder. And that impacted me greatly, along with all of the fights and all of the things surrounding Naruto as well. But I could really emotionally connect with some of the things the characters represented. So there's that.
Yeah, absolutely. You said one of the big inspirations on you in terms of YouTube as well with that was Swag Kage when it came to things like that. Am I correct in that?
Yeah. Me and my homeboys, when I got into Naruto, me and my homeboys would watch Swag Kage like every day. Every day. Even if we'd already seen the video, we'd put it. We all loved the guy. Still do. And so we also watch Nux and Totally Not Marked, but he's like my favorite YouTuber ever. My dream is to collab with him one day, but I don't know if I could stop giggling like a fanboy. Because I still have that mentality, even with other content creators who are even maybe smaller than my channel, in a sense, I kind of look up to everyone who's a content creator, and I try to learn things from them. But yeah, so Akage was definitely the guy for me who I was like, if I'm going to make content like anybody, it's going to be like Swag Kage. And I got a few comments early on when I started my channel that certain things I said sounded a lot like him, which for me was just the biggest compliment ever. But as I continued more and more, I ended up finding my own identity, which was a good thing.
Yeah. You know, it'd be sick if like we could I mean, it's so difficult because everyone is so busy, and the people that take YouTube and this content really seriously, you know, it's a job, right? They're budgeting their time and everything like that. So just to be able to get a person, you know, for 20 minutes to talk is something that, you know, you should be thankful for. But it would be cool, you know, we've talked about this with some other guests we had, like to be able to pull together this community, you know, of like YouTubers, and especially the ones that are doing like this AniTube stuff, and like be able to collaborate, but like on a large scale with a lot of these things, you know what I mean? Whether it's like coming together to make some sort of video or talk, or, you know, like organize some sort of game, like live stream, like whatever the case might be. Like that's always been like kind of a shelved dream of mine right now, you know, because like insofar as trying to network and get all these other people, you know, in the anime community to like pick their brains and all that kind of stuff, it would be cool to see them in like this group setting, you know what I mean? Like of like hosting that. And it would probably bring a joy to a lot of people. I know like some people are like, oh my God, like you got this person to come on, like that's the greatest crossover ever, you know? It's like some DC Marvel stuff, but
yeah, and probably also a lot of fighting in terms of people as well. But definitely worth it.
No, I mean that would be awesome. So real quick, I asked you about like your beginnings on YouTube and how you were inspired and all that kind of stuff and the people you looked up to. And real quickly, without going into it too much, because I don't want to take too much time on it, but what do you want to be known for in terms of YouTube or just like the legacy that you leave behind? Because you're still young, you got a lot of time to to figure out that kind of stuff, or none at all, depending on how serious you or disciplined or hard you are on yourself. But I'm curious to know your thoughts on that.
Right. I'm someone who I look up to athletes like LeBron, like Ronaldo. And something that I've always learned from my parents is how important the concept of legacy is. And I'm very, very big on it. That's why maybe sometimes when people, like recently I just did a video calling out this content creator, won't say his name. That's just honestly bad. It's just bad. And people are like, why do you bring attention to him? I'm like, for me, if that's what defines your legacy, I'm already doing enough damage. You get me? I don't care if it brings you attention. If your legacy is a garbage legacy, that you will take that to the grave. So for me, it's one of those things where I'm very, very big on legacy. How, maybe not how people perceive me, but whatever impact I can have. And so for the future of my channel, I don't know how big it'll get. I've received a lot of comments from big, small channels, all sorts of people that, keep on encouraging me and telling me that I'm doing things the right way. And I don't know, it really feels all surreal to me, but I think when it comes to what I want my legacy to be, I just want to be someone who kind of did his best to kind of bridge the gap between people who read shonen and people who read seinen. I want people to read stories that they can look at and be like, yo, I can be a better person. I can improve. Because that's always been my motto in life. You can always improve. You can always be better. You can always do better. You shouldn't ever play as victim and use that as excuses to not move forward in life, because everybody has hard circumstances, some harder than others. But when I see people, athletes like Jimmy Butler, whose mom kicked him out when he was homeless at 12, and now he made it to the NBA Finals. If another human being can do it, I can do it. You can do it. So not trying to sound too much like a motivational speaker, but I guess overall with what I want to show on YouTube is you can go somewhere in life being genuine, being real, being yourself. And you don't have to resort to crappy clickbait or being scared to share your opinions because you're scared of what people will think. And I did that at first, when I started expanding and reviewing mangas. I sometimes would bite my tongue because I was like, oh, well, I'm not too sure of myself. And you never want to be cocky or arrogant. But I've also understood that you can't not be yourself, And if people like it, awesome. If they don't like it, so be it. So I guess that's kind of my overall legacy is I hope that I leave a portion of the anime and manga community better than when I found it. And, that even now, the fact that people associate me with Berserk, my favorite manga of all time, is just so insane. And I only see things going up from here. I hope to eventually be associated with manga to the point where, when it comes to manga reviews, I'm one of the channels that people go to. But I have a long way to go. But I think that's like my overall legacies. I want to be, I just want to do the best that I can in expressing the way I feel about certain series. And hopefully people, they can hear what I say, not only in regards to manga, but other things and be motivated to do something, to read something, to invest in something, and to just be better.
Yeah, that's a good mindset to have, man. Yeah, for sure. Well said. And obviously with the mindset that you do have, there is, the sky's the limit, Yeah. It's just a matter of keeping that drive, keeping that discipline, and, wanting it, being persistent and not taking no for an answer. You either find a way or you'll make one type thing. You know what I mean? That's awesome. So I wanted to ask you one more thing before we got into some corny game here that we have. So real quick, because I feel that it would be ridiculous not to ask you this, being that to me right now, you are one of the Berserk authorities. I'm assuming you have read the most recent chapter of Berserk. Yeah. And for anyone watching right now that is into Berserk or whatever, y'all already stuck here for this, but it's not really crazy. But there is some spoiler territory in what I'm
sure.
about to say. So anyone that doesn't want to see that, you could skip ahead
Should
a couple
Gavin
minutes
leave
or
then,
something.
or
Yeah, Gavin, you can go.
All right.
because this is huge. Like, I'm not gonna lie. If we spoil this, he's gonna be like, "What's a what?"
It's all right. We'll lock him outside and we'll let him know when he comes
Gavin's
back.
taking one for the team. Just don't trip over the wires, bro. We got the most jank setup you've ever seen, but that's a story for another day. All right.
Man,
Anyway, he's out of the room now. So, bro.
Wait, we have to prove he's out of the room.
Wait, you gotta do to prove he's
No,
out of
it's
the room.
fine. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, if he stays, that's on him. Like,
He literally left the room.
okay, all right, yeah, okay.
He's gone. Gavin's nowhere.
He's gone. Yeah.
He's gone.
We're messing with our cameras. All right. So let's talk. Let's talk business here. Huge bombshells dropped
Wow.
in this chapter. I mean, we've waited long enough, first of all, for another chapter to come.
Right.
And finally getting even a snippet of the Skull Knight and like what his backstory is. I don't know about
Yeah.
you, but Skull Knight is one of my favorite characters. I mean, there's so many lovable
totally.
and likable characters, but he's
Totally.
just like so awesome and so badass. And it's like, dude, I gotta know what the hell this guy's up to, because they always allude to it, right? Like
Right.
in prior ones, like you get the idea that it's like, okay, he's King Geiserek, right? Like he's gotta be, right? And you're like, what was with this guy? Like, what was his beef with them? He was clearly the first one with the armor, but like nothing was ever confirmed. And even now, I mean, like it's pretty much confirmed at this point, but it's like there's still some vagueness to it. And the huge thing here being the OG God Hand, right?
Right.
The fact that
Right.
it wasn't Slon and the other and the folks. It was
Right.
really Void has been running the show now for a while, which brought up a huge amount of questions in the community, right? Like, okay,
Totally.
is Void more powerful than Femto? Is Void really the one in charge of this? Do you think what happened to the OGs? Why did they get replaced, etc.? I got to know your thoughts on
Mira,
this.
you butthole. So it's a little tricky to say, because my envision when it came to the Skull Knight and Void is Void was the very first God Hand member, or whatever led to Skull Knight's demise was Void was the only one present, if that makes sense. But one of the things that I heard was interesting was not that Void was actually the oldest, but it's very possible that this was Void's incarnation ceremony. So the other four were there before him, as he seems to be in the same position Femto was in when he was turned into a new God Hand member. I read that and I was like, why didn't I think of that? And then on top of that, that's just absolutely insane. And it really does raise a lot of questions. I love it that Miura did this, because, bro, some people were talking sweet on Berserk, So Miura was like, all right. Bam! And I was just like, okay, we get it. I'm sorry. I should have warned them more. You know what you're doing. But it was just absolutely mind-boggling. In fact, me and Ryan kind of plan on talking about it in a video tomorrow a little more, kind of getting into the God Hand and Skull Knight's origins. But it all entails so much. What I found a little funny was people saying the one girl Skull Knight was holding looked like Griffith. I thought she just looked like the Elf Queen. I don't know why people went to Griffith. I was like, dude, what? I guess people just, I don't know. Anyways, but I thought that was absolutely insane. The whole thing with the new God Hand and just theorizing on it. You could do that for like half an hour, really. I don't want to take up that much time though, but I think it was a master move by Miura to really catch the attention of the viewers again, right when people were starting to get a little sick and tired, So yeah, more lore, more questions, the edging butthole.
Dude, for sure. And you know what's interesting too, if there's the theory with Isaiah's going to get Gavin back, I guess. The theory with Void potentially being the OG one, right? That got kind of like the Griffith treatment in the beginning. I wonder also, if that is the case, why Skull Knight already had the armor, right? So like almost as if he were anticipating that, or this was something made, being like, okay, I'm going to need this for later, because when Guts gets that armor, it's like a push comes to shove, like you're at the brink type thing,
right?
So like if that was the rate, and like Skull Knight's been around the block, don't you, I would think if that theory were to hold true, that he would tell Guts of this armor that he would probably need to use beforehand, or maybe he deemed Guts not to be ready for it,
Right.
even at the state he was with. But
I think Guts encountering the armor is, I think what Skull Knight would boil it down to is causality.
sure,
That's
okay.
easily the best way to explain that. And as for Skull Knight's reason of using it, I'm pretty sure he had used it in previous occasions, and so he was already kind of used to it. But this time when, crap hit the fan, he pretty much, he got pushed to his limit. So, which would explain, as he says, the end of a foolish king and the beginning of a dead man walking, which that
dude, it was so good.
line is, we need a Berserk anime done well.
Dude.
I will sell my soul. No, let me stop. But yeah, no, that's all just wild stuff. That this recent chapter, it was so short. It felt really quick.
Dude, I was literally gonna say, man.
But it was
Yeah.
so much at the same
So
time.
good. I know. It was so good. That was my one gripe. I was like, I just need more. Like, that's my one
Right,
gripe with this.
yeah.
Is like, it's not long enough. If you were to have someone animate Berserk, who would you do?
Ooh, probably the same studio that's doing Castlevania.
Okay.
Or
they
the-
actually were talking about that.
Yeah,
at one
that's
point, were
where
they not?
I heard it from. I actually don't know the name of specific animation studios. One, because I've never gotten copyrighted by them, so I've never had an issue with any of them. And two, I don't
that's a good
watch
thing.
that many animes to the point where I'm like, I don't pay attention to who's the animator.
Yeah.
The only time I care is when it's bad. So, yeah. But I think I would like to see the people who do Castlevania, the people who do Attack on Titan. I think they would do a decent job as well. But yeah, just anybody who can do it good, That's it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
stick to 2D
For sure. That's all we
animation.
want.
Yeah, just 2D animation.
That's all we want.
Just 2D animation.
We just need like a fair adaptation of this.
Yes,
but-
a modern one. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I think it could do wonders, and I would love to see something beyond the
Golden
Why am
Age?
I drawing a blank here? The Golden Age arc,
Oh yeah, the Lost
like just in
Children
general.
arc.
I'm just yeah, dude, yeah.
Imagine
one of my
Guts
favorites.
getting Gavin's here, right?
Gavin's back.
Okay.
Yeah,
Imagine
Hold him back in
Guts
the
getting
room.
the what, but in beautiful 2D animation.
Gavin's looking blank.
Ah! Okay. All right. Yeah.
I just want to add that I literally did leave the room, and I got to say that entire time I was like, dude, I hate because I don't like being left out of the loop in general. And I'm like, oh man,
sorry.
I just want to like
It's
I
okay,
need I
because-
know it's like I need to just do it, and I'm like, oh my god, you've literally just made my itch to want to read it like to a 10,
I just
and I'm
need
just
someone to talk to.
Yes,
I
it's
will say
working.
That the 2 minutes of you guys going off about Berserk while Gavin left the room and I walked around on camera is probably some pretty good comedy.
Love to see
Messing
it.
with
Nobody
Gary.
could hear him but Ian, and I'm like, well, I got to take advantage of this. There's nobody in the room right now.
Lovely.
It's good things all around, man. Now that'd be awesome to see all that kind of stuff, and like we could really only hope, but it is what it is.
Right.
You just need more people to talk with it,
Right.
So I wanted to get into it's not really a segment because we kind of just did this on the fly beforehand, but like kind of just a corny, quirky little thing that we're trying to do here with a lot of the guests that we have on the show, and that's to incorporate something that is playful, that helps them
Okay.
become recognizable as more personable to people that might not know this person yet, or hopefully us if you are having, if you have hopefully viewers that are coming over to watch us, right? And so you guys get to know us a little bit, and we could get to know each other in the process. So just kind of like a short little thing. We're gonna play the game Two Truths, One Lie, right? Are you familiar with the game?
Yeah, I'm writing them down right now.
Barely. Okay.
Yeah.
Isaiah looks at me and goes, "Are you familiar?" And I'm like, "Barely." But pretty simple concept. For anyone out there who is not aware, the name is pretty self-explanatory. But basically, Gavin, myself, Isaiah, the Masked Man, we will all go through. We will state three things. Two of those will be the truth about us. One of them will be a lie. It is up to the people at the table and the Masked Man to try and guess what the lie was out of the three statements that we said.
Yep.
What were you gonna say, Gavin?
No, and I was gonna be like, it's blended too because it's some to do with like anime or manga, and also some like personable things that really only we should know, and some of my things I know Ian and Isaiah don't know. So, it's a blend of both like personal life and anime.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. You could do whatever you want. It's not about who's getting what right or wrong or anything like that. It's just fun to kind of, take a step into somebody else's, walk in somebody else's shoes for a second and see,
I'm
be like,
keeping
what?
score. Fuck that.
Yeah, never mind. Isaiah's
I'm not
keeping
here to
score.
win.
So how many do I need to write down? Because I could come up with some on the fly, but yeah.
Yeah, no, dude, you don't have to go ham, honestly. We're just going to do a couple things. I have like two things, like two different ones for me written down. I think
Okay,
Gavin does
all
as well
right.
as has one or two.
Yeah.
You know what? You could just do 1, 2, or 3, or if anything comes up to you, in the moment, just like a quick little fun thing to do.
Yeah.
So I figured, Gavin, you seemed like you were chomping at the bit to try and do this. So the Masked Man is also going to try, and you could take a guess at your best. Obviously, this is your first time really having a full-fledged conversation, so I wouldn't expect you to know our whole life story.
Right.
But we could take a crack at it, and then Gavin will let us. We'll see at the end what's going on once everything's said and done. Who was right, who was wrong, how well we know each other here at the AoA show. But go ahead, Gavin. Take it
All
away.
right. Yeah. So this will be a good example for you. A little different. Okay. So I'm going to start off with my 3 statements. You ready for this? All right.
Yes.
So we got. I went to boot camp when I was a kid. Okay. We are going to do. I started reading One Piece. Okay. And then another one is I was paralyzed for a day.
Wait, there are 2 truths and a lie, right?
Two truths and a lie. So I'll go back through with
okay.
my statement. Yep. So I'll go back with it.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
I went to boot camp when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I started reading One Piece, and I was paralyzed for a day.
Okay, well, the
Okay,
name Gavin
so-
sounds like you've been to boot camp, dog. Like, like you
love it.
come off to me as like military built. I don't know.
Okay.
It's the vibe I'm getting. The other one is
Okay.
you started One Piece. Listen, if you're not willing to invest money or read Berserk on a screen, I doubt you would be willing to read something like One Piece and invest that much more money on One Piece. If you do, I'm going to be personally offended. And no, I'm kidding. And the last one is you've been paralyzed for a day. I think you going to boot camp and getting paralyzed are both true. So I'm gonna say the One Piece one is a lie.
Okay,
Wow, that actually is. Oh,
Well,
wait a
it's
minute.
obviously correct, Gavin, because you already gave it up.
damn,
So
No, I was literally like, all right, Ian, now what's art? Nope, it's right.
worst game show host ever.
Ah,
No, just
damn.
kidding.
No, I
No,
messed
that's
that up.
fine.
No, because I actually was genuinely surprised because the boot camp one, yeah, all right. When I went when I was 10, and I went 4 times, 10, 11, 12,
Well,
13,
so
14.
for anyone out there that's like, okay, bullshit. Like, what did you do in boot
Okay.
camp and like what what I
So
mean?
it was through a program.
Because they're like,
I
know,
love the
people.
idea of someone, the fuck, he did go to boot camp.
Like, people will be like, you are not a United States Marine at 10. That is just a lie. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, there's more to that story. So
Yeah, so the thing is, like, like that thing where your parents are like, oh, like, my kid's bad, I'm going to send him to boot camp, like that sort of thing. Well, I was the opposite. I was the kid who was like, hey, Mom, I want to go to boot camp. And I'm not even lying because it was through a program like ROTC, but it was for the Navy, and I wanted to do it, so I shipped my butt out to boot camp, and I did it 4 times because I liked it
You
so much.
patriotic beauty.
No, it had nothing to do with patriot. I literally was like, I want to just endure myself with like struggle. And,
Oh,
like,
so
I
you're
was
just a
kid and I was like, I wanna try
masochist,
something
okay.
new. I'm a
Yes,
masochist,
yes.
and I did it the first time, and I was like, I oddly liked that. Like, I got my
Okay.
butt torn up, but
That's
I
the
wasn't
definition
mad
of
at it.
Whoa!
hurting
Pause.
yourself and
Pause.
wanting more.
Pause. You never want to say you went to boot camp and got your butt torn up. That's just, it's
All
not,
right, fair
it's
enough.
not the way you
All
want to phrase that.
All right.
It's not.
What really got me, I thought the paralyzed one was going to get you because I was paralyzed for a day, and that's because I hyperextended my spinal tissue playing a sport, and I was paralyzed for a day. That was the scariest moment of my life.
That
but
is frightening.
Luckily, it healed, and the guy was like, yo, you'll be good in a day. And I was like, I literally can't move my hands or feet. Like, are you sure? My mom had to come drive me home. It was college sports are a wonder.
What are they gonna
but,
roll you home?
no, that was interesting, but it is true.
That's hilarious
so,
because
yeah.
as much as I know you, I was like, there's no fucking way this nigga started One Piece and didn't tell us. So I was like, and I know for a fact you've gone to boot camp, and I'm like, I don't even care what the third thing is. I know this nigga didn't start reading One Piece and hasn't said shit about it.
That's a fact. There's also like you kind of sometimes with these games, right? It's like if you go too hard into something that sounds too ludicrous, the person is like, okay, like that's got to be like, you know what I mean? Like who's going to make that up? You know what I mean? Like that's got to be something that happened. So you could throw people off the scent by saying 3 absolutely ludicrous things. You know what I mean? There's a way to game this. You know what I'm saying? So Isaiah, what do you got? Or how many did you have, Isaiah?
I had as many as you did.
You did too?
Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't want to have you go next, then you only had one. So fire away. What do you got? We're gonna do Isaiah next. Let's see
All
what we can guess.
So for my 3, I've never killed an animal.
Oh my god.
I technically did not finish high school. And I passed my driving exam, bought my car, and got pulled over and got a ticket in the same day.
What was the first one?
I've never killed an animal.
Okay, so logically, it would if you got bad luck like that is possible. So you got your thing right, you got the car, and then you got pulled over because you hit an animal. You finished high school, so you not finishing high school is a lie.
Oh, okay. You were like, you finished high school. And then I was like, wait, is he going to pick it? And then my head got twisted because I'm like, wait, does that mean? And you're like, you didn't fit. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Okay. So you're saying so you think Isaiah finished high school.
Yes.
You think that is the lie that he did not.
Yeah.
Okay. Ian.
I think the lie is you never killed an animal. Hell, I just ran over a squirrel the other day. It was terrible. Poor guy. Ran out in the middle of the parkway. I'm like, what are you doing?
Ian's like, and if I can do it, anybody.
Never killed an animal. Oh, I probably should have picked that. Oh, too late. I'm sticking with the high school ones.
That's my guess. I think the lie is that you've never killed an animal. I think even if it was on accident, or maybe you killed your goldfish on accident, you accidentally tried to wash out the bowl.
You don't even need
like
to
that.
accidentally or intentionally kill a goldfish. You wake up one morning and that sucker's dead. I swear goldfishes are suicidal.
You got something you want to get off your chest about a goldfish, man?
Finding Nemo was a bunch of crap. Okay.
Yo, that's so funny. You sound like PTSD.
God.
Yo, we used to have, when I was a little kid, bro, we used to have a goldfish, okay? Because our parents were like, all right, you clearly, like, I have 2 siblings, and it was like, you know, you kids are just not ready to take care of like an animal that's above the level of a goldfish, right? So they're like, we're gonna start with that.
That's so
Once
dumb.
this thing kicks the
Give the kid the animal with the least expectancy to live.
No, but here's the kicker, right? Here's the irony in this story. So they give us a goldfish, and it's like, all right, I guess they're trying to teach us, like, make sure you feed it every day, do all this kind of stuff. And they were expecting, I guess, this thing to kick the bucket, as we were just talking about, and so they can move on to the next animal if we did well enough or whatever. This goldfish, dude, would not die. Like, I don't know. It's not like they were intentionally trying to kill it, but it lived for so long. Like, I don't know what the lifespan of a goldfish is. What am I doing? I've Google. Let me see.
Like 2 hours.
What is the average?
I just picture
Like 2
you guys trying to get a dog. Like, y'all just threw the goldfish in a frying pan, and you're like, come on.
All right, deadass. You want to hear something funny right now?
Oh goodness.
Guess what the average lifespan of a goldfish is?
What?
Just guess. Take a guess.
17 hours.
Gavin.
3 years.
Isaiah.
12 hours.
10 to 15 years. It's the average expectancy of a goldfish.
Bro,
that's what happens when you take care of an animal, Ian. It lives for a little bit longer than it's supposed to.
So my story was going to be that this goldfish lived for like 3+ years, and to us that was like mind-boggling. We were like, dude, like, how long do these things live? There's no way. And we named it Rasputin because if you guys are familiar with who Rasputin is, he was the Russian guy who just would not die. The guy was poisoned like 3 times. They shot him. They threw him off a cliff or a bridge. The guy just would not die for anything. So we named the fish Rasputin, and it lived for, like over 3 years. And then finally my mother, I guess, like, didn't know that there's like a proper way to wash out the bowl, and she's like, this thing's getting filthy. So she like washed it out with, I guess, like dish soap. And like, you don't do that. So then you put it back in, and Rasputin finally got his final poisoning and died. And it was a really sad day.
It wasn't just your goldfish, since it was Rasputin, it was our goldfish.
Dude. Yes,
Damn,
comrade.
That's crazy. That's
All right.
nuts. Anyway, Gavin.
Shut up. You know it was a good story.
So, with the high school thing, if I'm not mistaken, you talked about going to theater for college. So that, you kind of got put 2 to 2 together.
I did say technically, though.
Yeah,
Which
and there
means
is you can go to college.
One could finish all the classes in time of high school, but there's a specific certificate that one has to get.
Yes.
And if you don't get it, technically, you did not finish high school.
Well, technically, I know that an animal would also consider to be an insect. And I know that you aren't out there with a cup and piece of paper saving every insect under the book. So you definitely had to kill an animal.
wait,
If not,
does
then
that
I'm putting my
count?
life-
If insects count,
It's an animal.
Oh,
yeah.
And if that was his lie, then he needs to get his technicalities right because that is an animal. So, yeah, that is the lie right there. Bam.
Bam.
So,
All right, Trebek, final answer.
100% didn't fucking think about insects at all.
let's go!
I didn't think about insects either when I said that. I
Yeah,
thought
because I'm gonna be real, dog. I have to even consider them animals. I don't believe you at all.
Bro, I consider
Anyway.
insects differently. Facts. Like when I'm thinking animal,
Yeah,
I don't
100%.
care.
Like,
Flies don't count.
you think a squirrel and a fucking caterpillar? No, it's not. It's not the same in my book. One like lives off the dirt on the ground, and one like runs up it. No, we're not doing it.
Damn.
Anyway, the lie was that I've never killed an animal. When I was 6, my cousin gave me a BB gun for my birthday.
Oh my God.
And I literally was out in the woods and he was showing me how to use it, and without my knowledge, accidentally shot a squirrel out of a tree.
That makes
and
sense.
it was dead, and it traumatized me at 6. And from this day, I have never shot a gun. I've never shot a fake gun. Because I was just like, oh my God.
A commercial,
All right, wait,
commercial plays and it's like Nerf or nothing. He's just twitching on the sofa, like. nah.
All right. No, while we're on the story of accidentally killing animals, I got one because it was bad and it
Oh, I'm sure
traumatized
you
me
do.
for life. No, it was.
Welcome to the show, folks.
Welcome to the show. No, because we always get geese in the backyard and they would like poop all over the place.
Don't lie,
And,
you
like,
intentionally killed them.
No, dude, I was young. And what my dad would do is he was like, all right, like when we were kids, go run out in the backyard, just scare the geese away because we always played outside. Like I have a big backyard, so we always played like kickball and stuff. And we didn't have shoes and poop, and it was just not a good mix. So what we would do is we would like me and my brother, we played baseball, so we'd have a bucket of baseballs, and we would sit out back and we would just like throw them and shoo them off. Like it would seem harmless. And dude, I literally cried. It was a mom with its baby, like his baby geese, like the babies, and like we were just like throwing them, like just like shoo shoo shoo, and I clonked one of the babies on the head.
Oh,
And, dude, it was
damn it,
out.
no.
And I remember I was crying. I went inside. My dad's like, "It's okay. He's just taking a nap." Blah blah blah. He told me 3 years later. He was like, "Yeah, you actually just hit it in the wrong spot." And my dad, and like after that happened, my dad was like, "No more of that. Like you're running out there and you're just like waving your arms and shooing." And then years later, I found out and he told me, dude, literally the most like almost the traumatizing
All right,
experience
Gavin,
of my life.
I
It was so
want to
bad.
feel for you. I really do. And I do feel for you. But when did you think it was a good idea to think that baseballs would have been your just method of trying to shoo away geese? You might as well just throw rocks at them at that point.
All right, no, because I wasn't like aiming for them. We were just throwing them, and they're fast. Like they like flap and they go, and I just threw one at the wind, and he had just.
Dude, I throw
ran
enough
into
darts
it.
at a dartboard with my eyes closed.
right.
I'm eventually gonna get a
All right,
bullseye.
so
Like-
all we
I
learned,
wasn't trying to go. It was
all
an
we've
accident.
learned
Okay.
is that 2/3 of the people at this table are murderers. Anyway.
Oh, actually,
let the masked man
it might be 3/4.
Damn.
Or all of us, because actually all of us. So just real quick, I'll give mine, and then I don't know if I'm supposed to give my truth or lie or if someone else's, but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Okay, mine's gonna sound worse than anybody else's, so let me get done with the story. I own a pet dog. I love my dog to death. I'm not a big cat person, but I'm usually kind to stray cats. Just give them food whenever, and then they run off. My neighbors had a Chihuahua. And this little runt was the type to chase after you and nip at your heels whenever you would take out the trash. Now, I didn't care for it at first, I was like, because I was cool with the neighbors, I was cool with the kids, they was my age, so I was just like, whatever. So one time I'm taking out the trash and I was just not in the mood. You know those days where you're just easily irritable and like the slightest thing sets you off? Yeah.
It's called every other day.
yeah, it's called when I haven't eaten for over 2 hours.
Right. So imagine not eating over 2 hours. You just get home from school. You just bombed a test and now you just got grounded. I'm fuming as like a 15-year-old. So this dog comes and nips at my heel. I dropped the garbage bag, turned around, and I like punted the dog. Like all you heard was, and it started limping, and then it started slowly limping, and then it just laid on its side, and it never nipped at my heels again, nor did it ever do anything else again. But the kids of the neighbor kind of covered up for me, saying, well, he was running out and a car hit him and that car left. They don't know what car it was. So yeah, Anyways,
Damn, that is some bad luck, dude. That is terrible luck.
so
All right, so now I think Ian.
now people
you
gonna
have
think
to
I'm
tell
a
us
bad
about-
person. They're gonna like.
Dude, it happens to the best of us.
Now
That's
you have to
terrible.
tell everyone about an animal you killed to round out the.
I just
group
said I
here.
just flattened a squirrel the other
And the
day going on the
goldfish.
parkway.
Oh,
I was
that's
taking
right, that's right,
Parkway
okay,
North,
okay.
and I'm literally just driving, and all of a sudden the squirrel runs out. I'm like, nope. Dude, we're on the Parkway, dude. Like I can't just slam the brakes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like why, dude? Like there's a million other roads you could cross, squirrel. What are you doing? Why did you pick the Parkway, dude? That's like, dude.
Yeah, dude, he knew his life was over. He just had to end it.
That's terrible. Yeah, I definitely did that. My friend accidentally shot a bird with a paintball gun once, and that didn't end well. You could see how that
We're
went.
gonna get
But,
taken down by
yeah.
PETA if we continue this.
How did we get here? All right, I'm gonna go through my truths lie real
yeah.
quick, which are not nearly as bad. But anyway, so I'm gonna go through real quick. So my 3 statements are: I have been skydiving.
Oh no! Oh no!
This is more. You guys might know these to be fair, so you don't have to like jump at it because I didn't know who was gonna be guessing what. So it's more for the masked man. But I have been skydiving.
Okay.
I'm a college grad,
Okay.
and I have 2 brothers.
Okay. You talked about earlier having 2 brothers. You mentioned it in your
did.
goldfish story. And
I would like to say real quick, I said I have 2 siblings when I said that before.
true, he did
so
not say
just in case that
now
alters. You
either
could be right, you
you
wrong.
could be saying this to throw me off, so I changed my answer, but I'm sticking with it. Nice try. So, yeah, you have 2 bro. I watched Death Note. You're not getting me. So that's how it be. After you watch Death Note, you be trying to outsmart everybody, but you just be looking stupid. Like that's how I am. But okay, so you have 2 brothers. You do strike me as the type to skydive. Oh, but I don't want to say you're not a college graduate.
You call me dumb?
No, yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to. I'm
Double down.
Hold
Do
on,
it.
I'm horrified of heights, and I don't know how easy it is to get a skydiving gig. So I'm gonna just say you have graduated from college, just because I want to be invited eventually again. And yeah, you do have 2 brothers. You've not been skydiving.
Do you guys know this one?
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
pretty sure. I'll put in my guess is that you don't have 2 brothers.
Ah!
Do you know this one, guys?
Damn. No, actually, now
Oh, sure.
I'm gonna
Take
go
your
with.
crack.
I'm gonna go. Wait, what was the college one again?
So I'm a college
That
grad.
he's graduated college.
Are we talking like associates or bachelors?
I am a college grad.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Ah,
You haven't really tried to say but like real college or stupid college.
All right, I'm going with college grad.
You don't
That's
think I'm
why.
a college grad?
Nope.
Damn, Gavin. All right.
Yep.
Hit me
Oh,
low.
I need to switch cameras. I don't care. They need to see my face. It's all good.
Gavin's in the tank. All right. So the lie is actually that I have 2 brothers.
Ah!
I have 2 siblings. I have a sister
brother
and a
and
brother.
sister.
Oh,
I have
I
a
was
brother and a
gonna. I
sister.
knew I should have.
And I've actually seen the video of you skydiving, so I knew that was true.
Yeah.
What?
yeah.
And
Dog, I'm horrified
you
of
told me about
heights.
college before.
Dude.
Bro,
No.
oh my goodness. Look, I'd be horrible at skydiving. Like,
Dude, there is no horrible at it because if you're horrible at it, you're just dead. So don't worry about it.
You're with an instructor, you know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. If you went solo, like if you can't, it's
Yeah,
like
and if they sniff your weakness out, they kill you.
yeah, they actually shoot you with guns in midair and you have to dodge them. It's crazy. No, dude, I'm telling you. I mean, I don't have a fear of heights, so this is a little bit, biased, and I understand if people have a fear, but I have heard from people that even do have a fear of heights that when you're skydiving, it's weird because you're actually so high that you can't even fathom the height you're at, so you
out.
don't. The fear isn't as strong.
oh, okay.
right? If
'cause
that
you
makes
can't
sense. So it's like
see all the way
Exactly.
down. Okay, makes sense.
Exactly. Like if you're on top of a ladder and you could see the ground, you know
Then
what I mean?
yeah,
And it's like,
okay.
okay, this is going to take me a second. But when you're so high, you can't. It's like you're on a different plane of existence because you're looking out the plane and all you see is the horizon and like the clouds and the sun and the sky and everything else is just dots. So it's a
Right.
different feeling. Again, I'm not afraid of heights, so I don't know how true or not true this is, but that's what I've heard.
It's like I go
Yeah, but
try
I
it.
have been skydiving.
Yeah, it's like I go try
It's-
it, and it's like, well, I learned that I go and I just pass out on the way.
Yeah, he like vomits and then passes out mid-flight, and it's like, well, this is
No,
fun.
dude, you got it. I mean, listen, dude, if you ever change your mind and want it and are thinking of trying it, 1,000% 1,000% worth it. 1,000% worth it.
Okay.
I loved it. It was one of the greatest experiences of my entire life. I'm kind of a thrill seeker too. Like I'm one of those crazy, like the closer I am to death, the more alive I feel type thing. Like that's just.
I'm a little bit of a psychopath, but
Yeah,
it's okay.
you threw that in at the end. You're like, I also am crazy. So there's that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's that. But like I'm telling you, man, I had never even flown in a plane. Before I went I've actually never flown in a plane to travel. That's the only time I've been in a plane is when I was skydiving.
Okay.
And so my friend was trying to psych me out the whole time, like get me scared or whatever, like for giggles. And when we finally went up in this tin can of an airplane, I was like kind of, I had butterflies at first, and they were recording because you could pay to have them record the whole thing and then, put it together in a video for you,
Right.
which I would also recommend doing if you do go, because you don't want to ever forget that experience.
Okay.
So, but we're up in this tin can, and as we're taking off, like lifting off, I was like, ooh, this is kind of crazy. Like I got a knot in my stomach, obviously. But once we were at like 14,000 feet in the air, however high we were,
oh Lord,
dude, it was like a feeling of sublime. Like I looked out the window, and then when he said, all right, you're going to shimmy towards the edge of the plane now, I was just, I was like, let's go. Let the earth swallow me. Like I'm ready. Like I looked out the side, and I swear, man, it was like life froze for a second. Like I looked out, and I'm like, this is, I think, the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And when he's like, all right, go, I just dropped with ease. I was like, let's do this. And like falling out, I was like, this is insane.
Can I offer a counterpoint?
Sure.
That moment where you're like felt bliss and your body, what did you describe it as? Your body just like,
Well, I wanted the earth to swallow me.
yeah. Could that not have been every instinct in your natural body telling you not to jump out of a fucking airplane and you ignoring it anyway?
I don't know, dude. Baki the grappler jumped off a cliff in order to train his fight or flight reflex, okay? I learned it from anime.
Baki's got like 5,000 muscles. He don't count.
We can all aspire to be
So
it.
true.
Oh, so now we need your truth.
Okay.
Yes. I'm curious to
So
hear yours.
I have 2 sets written down. I don't know. I think some of these are pretty because y'all don't know me at all. So I'll do the second set first, just because I think it's a pretty measly one.
Sure.
The first thing, I used to be a frequent troublemaker in class. I was essentially the class clown, and suspension was a frequent thing, or at least it wasn't rare. Number 2, I'm currently high as hell.
I hope that's the truth.
And number 3, I'm Guts' height in the Golden Age arc, which is 6'3".
Wait. You say that one more time? Your guts is what?
Guts' height when he was my age, which is 6'3".
Oh, which is 6'3". I'm 6'3". Dog.
Nice.
I feel even better now. All right. I'm sorry. Anyway, ooh, that's a good one. Anyone want to take a stab at it?
I mean, I already got my answer.
Okay,
so
go for it. Gavin doesn't. All instinct. Gavin's all
instinct. What was that second one again? No. Because it was, for me, it was the second one. I just want to hear him say it again.
I'm currently high.
Yeah. Oh. Wait a minute.
This is why I love Gavin.
Wait a minute. I'm thrown off.
Because he will jump into an 8-foot pool and be like, well, I don't know how to swim. Why is that relevant?
I thought you were going in.
All right, it's the third one.
So you don't think he's 6'3"?
Nope, he's not 6'3".
Okay. Anyone else want to take a stab?
Okay. I definitely feel like the class clown thing was true.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, something about the way he said it. I was like, that's something I would say, and I was that class clown. Man, I want the high thing to be true because fuck, would that be funny as shit?
That's why I changed it. I wanted it to be true.
But I think, and what was the third thing?
He's
the
6'3".
I.
But
you
it's
know what?
an oddly
You know what?
specific
You know
number,
what?
so that's just throwing me.
I'm gonna say that the 6'3" thing is the lie.
Okay.
I think you're a little high right
No,
now.
that's awesome. And Gavin, you said that
I said 6'3" as well.
You said the
was a lie.
6'3" was a lie. I'm gonna say the lie is that you're high right now. I'm gonna say that because I think number 1, you being the class clown was true. You would reference school prior, and you would like quickly reference something about getting in trouble or something like you were like messing around. And I could be overlooking into that, but I think you did. I also think there's something to be said with people that find their artistic medium and their way of expression through it is the things that we do. And I know for me, maybe Gavin's kind of an outlier, so I won't include Gavin because I know Gavin, you said you were pretty straight laced in most respects. But I know for me, I was a huge class clown. Like I was very awkward in ways, and it was the only way that I knew how to either get attention or fit in or do whatever. But like I had a very active mind.
Yeah.
And whether it was just thinking of bullshit or was literally thinking of something creative, like I was always bored in school. And I feel like a lot of that correlates now from my childhood life into what it is we do now. And I feel like I've finally found myself in what it is that we do now and like actually aimed it like that, you know, that restlessness and that active mind. And if I were to guess, I think that you might have a similar outlook on something like that, because I think a lot of our things align.
Okay.
I also think in terms of the Berserk, the 6'3" thing, I think it's very specific that you would mention that, and I also think that would be something that you're proud of as well, because I know as soon as you said that, I was, even though it really means nothing in the grand scheme of things, who cares, you're 6'3", but I am, and I was like, ooh, that means I'm more like Guts, who's my favorite protagonist ever, so that's
there's
dope.
another reason
so I feel
to be
like
proud of it, but I'll get into
okay, and
for.
Yeah, and then I don't think you're high because, don't get me wrong, like, not that there's anything wrong if, you know, if that's how you roll, and like that's totally cool, but I know that you place a high precedent on sports, and you seem to be like put a very high mark on discipline, which I feel has to go kind of hand in hand with what it is that you do. And I don't feel like getting high, or at least on a regular basis, would be a great or efficient efficient way to conduct yourself in terms of, you know what I mean, trying to, you know, make the best moves for the channel. But I could be wrong on that. Some people get their creative vision, you know, when they're like that. But that's my final answer. I think it's a lie that you're high right now.
So I'll go through it. I actually am 6'3", and I'm quite proud of it too, mainly because girls love tall guys. So it's true. Like,
Get it, boy.
Man. And yeah. And I was the class clown a lot in school, mainly because I had this fearlessness. I think I've always had that. I'm just going to say what's on my mind. If you don't like me for it, so what? Usually people warm up to it after a while, though, once they get to know me a little more personally. But yeah, no, I'm not high. I've never done drugs, never smoked. And you know what's the crazy thing? A lot of people, when I stream and I switch energy, they assume that. They're like, bro, you have to be high or drunk. No, that's just how I am energy-wise. Like, I could be like I'm high, but I don't do drugs. Like, that's how fun I am. But, yeah, you pretty much nailed it on the head. Sports is a major part of my life. Discipline is huge. And I've kind of seen it destroy people who can't keep it in check, you know? Because I think a lot of people lie to themselves about that. They're like, I could stop. I've had homies like that. They're like, I could stop whenever I want. And then I took it out of their mouth and threw it in the water. I was like, you going to stop now? And then, you know, then I call them out on their crap because no, they can't stop when they want. But it's their business. But me personally, I've never done that. So no, I'm not high. Yes, I'm 6'3", and yes, I used to be the class clown in school. So yeah. That's my first set.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go now with my second set?
Yeah. Hit us with the other one.
Okay, so
real
these
quick,
kind of
I'm
connect
curious.
to the last one. So the first one is I skipped a grade.
Okay.
The second one is I'm told frequently I look a lot like James Charles. And the third one is I actually didn't like Berserk when I first read it.
Impossible. So with these, because we have another one too, instead of going into like the specifics of why we think it's this, just use your instinct, fire away. What do you think the lie is?
I think it's a twist, and it's the third one again, that he didn't like Berserk when he started reading it. For a weird way, I know that might be sacrilegious.
You think that's a lie? Because you're
wait,
picking out the lie.
Oh, wait, I'm confused. Wait, all right, run through them real fast one more time.
I skipped a grade. A lot of people say I look like James Charles, and I actually didn't like Berserk at first. When I first read it, like the first, not like first completely through, but like when my initial impression of it.
Is the second thing, is the lie that a lot of people say you look like James Charles, or is the lie that you don't look like James Charles? I'm confused.
I can't tell you what's the
So
lie.
it would be, so he's saying, do you think it's true or false that a lot of people compare his looks to that of James Charles?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know why that.
All right, then I'm going with the first one.
I skipped the grade.
Class?
Okay.
Yep.
Hit us. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going with skip your grade.
I think I was gonna at first say the James Charles thing, but it just seems oddly specific. But I'm gonna pick it anyway, just to throw a wrench into it, because these guys picked the first one. I'm gonna say that's a lie.
Okay, actually, the first two are true.
Wow!
Yeah.
I should have stuck with my instinct. Damn.
So that's the thing, is I skipped second grade, and that was kind of the thing. I was always very good academically in school, except when it came to math. Once algebra got thrown in the mix, my brain and math just have not been friends since. But I'm actually very, very good at memorizing things when it comes to history. If I apply myself, I was very good. So I did skip 2nd grade when I was young. I graduated high school early.
Wow.
And anytime I've ever done a face reveal, the amount of people who say I look like James Charles is like above 50 at this point.
All right, that's actually hysterical because
I didn't know who he was at first either. Like in school, girls would walk up to me and be like, you know, you kind of look like James Charles. And I was like, and then my
That's
homies would
hysterical,
not
man.
stop roasting me about it. I was like, I don't know why
I'm just
you
picturing,
talking.
like,
You look like
a-
Whoopi Goldberg. I don't want to hear none from you, dog. Like,
I'm picturing like a 6'3" James Charles cosplaying as Guts from Berserk.
Dude,
and it's
that is
just the most
hilarious.
hysterical thing.
dog,
Dude.
I look like a skinny JoJo's character. It's not funny.
Yes.
Oh my
Yo, now I
God.
gotta
You know,
know. We
okay,
gotta
you
get
know,
that face
you know
reveal.
Kiro when he has his black hair.
Yes.
I would argue there's a little bit of resemblance there. Just a little bit.
Now the curiosity juice.
That's hysterical.
That's funny, man. Gavin, hit us with a quick fire one. What do you got? And then
All
we'll
right.
just do a gut guess.
Quick fire one.
Yeah.
Let's see.
This is
We're
too much
gonna
fun.
do. I started
Liar!
college.
Sorry.
I started college while I was in high school. Okay. We are gonna
actually
do.
know friends who do
I
that.
liked Black Clover the anime.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank
and
you.
then we're gonna do. I broke my hip snowboarding.
Oh, well, I mean, if you
Okay.
paralyzed your damn back, I wouldn't be surprised that you also busted your hip. Okay, I want to go first for this one. Okay, so you haven't. Okay. What was the first one? Repeat it.
The first one was I started college while I was in high school.
I know friends of mine who did that, and based off of the fact that you were willing to go to boot camp, shows that you're willing also to put yourself in just really unnecessary situations. So that's the first one. I think that's the
Okay.
truth. That's a truth, and I think you. What was the second one? Okay, the third.
I liked Black
No, yeah.
Clover the anime.
The first and the third one's the truth. The second one is a lie, you liar.
Okay.
Because I don't know, I've heard so many bad things about the Black Clover anime, and when I first watched it and heard Asta's voice, it sounded like a 15-year-old smoker who already had throat cancer. I couldn't sit through it.
Savage.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we might have a little bit of an advantage between Isaiah and I on this one, being that Gavin is our castmate, so we're with him, 5 days out of the week anyway.
Yeah, but
so
I ignore him 50% of the time. he's
it's
talking.
true. Yeah, if you blank it out.
He's sick.
I'm gonna say.
These guys.
I'm gonna
these guys.
say the lie is that you broke your hip snowboarding because, well, Isaiah, go ahead real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you.
With that one,
You
yeah.
broke your
Just
hip
because we
snowboarding
have a
line.
slight advantage in the sense that we had to kind of beat Gavin's head like a drum and tell him that Black Clover is bad, and he was very stubborn at first, and he even went back to it like someone with a bad drug addiction at one point. I don't know, where have you been with that, Gavin? I have a gun.
I think I'm on episode 117 to be exact.
Disgusting.
Yeah,
I'm just
I
playing.
haven't picked up since then because they weren't making
Dude,
it.
when we
but, yeah.
first started this show, we literally ripped on Black Clover, like especially Isaiah and I, relentlessly. Like every other episode, and like I told you, we used to all work together. And so when we first started this show, everyone obviously had their doubts. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, you guys are doing this, blah, blah, blah. But people where we worked, there was a sect of people that were heavily into anime.
Right.
So they were, at least intrigued that this was the subject matter. And so they would come up to us, though, and if they had listened and were early supporters, they would come up and just tell us, like, they would try and be like someone in a comment section. You know what I mean? They'd be like, this is why you're wrong. You have to give this a chance. They could be recommending 1,000 things because Gavin and I are actually relatively new to the anime scene in the grand scheme of things. We've been at it for a couple of years now. Isaiah's been doing this since he was in diapers. So they were like, oh, you got to watch this. This is good. Your opinion's wrong here. And we, especially me, because I was very hard on what I didn't like in the beginning of the show. I was like, that's going to be my persona. I've since not felt like getting in as many fights, so I've cooled off a little bit. But Black Clover I ripped on so hard, and I would literally go to work the next day, and people will be like, yo, you just don't understand Black Clover, like, you don't get it, blah, blah, blah. Just wait like 50 episodes, and then it gets really good. And like, dude, that was the argument every day.
You know what, though? It's very similar to Naruto, which is the gripe that many people have.
Sure.
And coming off of me, again, this was when I had just finished Naruto. Like, I binged both in 2 months,
Sure,
like Shippuden
yeah,
and the
yeah,
OG.
yeah. No, it totally makes
and,
sense.
like, I just wanted that, like,
Yeah,
story again,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that just gave it to me.
No,
Even
that
though it
makes
was
sense.
reskinned, for me, I was like, I just needed
All right,
it.
what
That's
So
was
what
your-
was the,
yeah.
what was it? Your lie?
So my lie was you guys had it right. Sorry, I forgot. Was I broke my hip snowboard?
Yeah. Sorry. I know before you.
Man.
It's okay, Masked Man. You're at a disadvantage here, but it's still funny to try and guess.
Yeah.
All right, Isaiah, hit us with rapid fire one. What do you got?
Real quick. All right, so my new 3 are I can name all 10 Tails Jinchuriki from Naruto from memory. I have watched approximately 420,400 and 800 minutes worth of ecchi hentai anime or manga in my life, which collectively is about 8 years worth. And I still have
You can't.
And then the third one is I still have an old anime game that I borrowed from a Blockbuster that I have not returned.
Oh, Masked Man, what do you got?
Oh my gosh. I had like the water. And I was like,
headache.
I was like, I like gargled it for a second. Pause. But we got a piggy. I heard a snort. Can't get away
Dude,
from
I
me.
snort all the time. Like,
Bro, the snorts are like the funniest thing. When everyone's dying of laughter and then there's a snort, it just resets the laugh chain. Okay.
Dude, I do it all the time.
Okay. Bro, there's no way you have that exact number of anime hentai watched unless you have an app or every time you've jacked it, you've like put it on a piece of paper and kept tabs of the minutes. Also, that many minutes, dog, means you've been a porn addict for years. You have my prayers. So the first one was naming all 10 Tales of Jinchuriki. I don't know if the 10th one has a name. I don't remember the name of the 10th one. I just always called it the 10 Tales. The first 9 is possible, and the last one was what was it?
The last one was that I have an old anime game from a Blockbuster that I have not returned.
Yeah, that's possible. The second one has to be a lie. That's BS. Okay. That specific number, no.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. How much did you say again? Run that by me.
It's about 8 years, like collectively.
How old are you?
Me, 24.
Oh no, yeah, that's actually reasonable. 16, 20, yeah. Yeah, that's. Yeah, but what? Was there even really? No way.
I just want to say that TV Time does keep track of the exact minutes, days, and converts it to months. So I'm not steering anything, but I'm just throwing it out there to confuse you a little bit.
Please tell me you didn't pay for it.
No. It's free. It's free.
Okay, that makes it less just terrible. There's no way that second one is true. But I feel like it's so absurd it is. Okay. Number 2 is false. Number two.
Okay.
All right, cool. Gavin,
Bro,
go.
your palms must be messed up if they are. Look at his palms. I want you two to look at his palms.
I don't know.
Look at his palms.
Bro, you're good. You just alternate every day and then throw a foot
Nah,
in
he's
there.
got holes in the
All
palm of his hands.
I'm going to go number 1 is the lie.
Number 1's a lie?
Yeah, what was it again? Number 1?
He can name all 10 Tales.
Yeah, I think that's
He's a Naruto fan. That's got to be true.
I know he's a fan, but I'm catching BS on that.
I am going with the second one as a lie because the Jinchuriki are different from the actual name, if I'm not mistaken, of the being tail. So like Kurama is not, if I'm not mistaken, a Jinchuriki. Naruto is the Jinchuriki, and Obito technically was the Jinchuriki, and Madara, etc. of the 10 Tails. So number 2, final answer. What is it?
Gavin's right.
Wait, I was right too. I guess number 2 as well. What you mean?
What's number 1? Dude, I thought I next level.
No, you ain't next level nothing.
The second you started going into it, I was like, wow, this nigga went hard into it. I did not even think of
Bro,
that.
I'm not going to hold you.
Like,
I was thinking the QB because I was like Kurama, and then I kind of.
First off, the thing is, a guy I used to work with always used to rip on me for that. He used to be like, oh, you say you're a Naruto fan, but all right, what are the names of the Jinchuriki? I'm like, nigga, I don't know. Like, I don't fucking have everybody's shit
What's
memorized.
wild?
Like, I just like the anime.
That would have been my exact
so,
answer. Those words exactly too.
What actually blows my mind is the fact that you literally have watched that much ecchi and hentai. I thought that was like, there's no way you've watched that.
I would have doubted, dude. It's Isaiah. What
You're
do you
a
mean?
savage.
Also, I love that the Masked Man assumed that amount of time meant that I had to have jacked off to every single one that I watched, and I couldn't have just watched them and moved on.
Wait, why would you just watch them? Like, what?
Because I'm a connoisseur of art, sir.
No, hold on. No, you don't. What?
And yes, I do still have a very old. It's one of the first Dragon Ball Budokai.
So
games.
the second
believe
one's
that.
a lie, right?
Blockbuster That I just what? No,
No, the first one was the lie. He can't name all
No
the
way, dog.
dog. Where were you with the review?
Dog, what? No, you lost me. I thought you could name the. No, but then I thought you. What? Dog.
Dude, I told
Bro,
you,
I
TV
feel
time
like-
is the greatest asset to
Bro,
life.
I feel like Po from Kung Fu Panda just learned the secrets from Master Oogway. Bro,
Well, I'm honored that you equated that martial
Bro.
arts skill to my watching of hentai.
Oh my god.
dog, you must open doors at lightning speeds. like, yo, what? Bro, when he shakes hands, he crushes people's hand. Like,
His dick actually has a permanent imprint of his hand around it.
bro,
Going Hobson.
bro. Every time he lifts his arms up, he causes tornadoes. He just. He does it with the force of, bro. Okay.
Yo, you're like in that Family Guy episode where Quagmire discovers what porn is.
Oh,
He
and
gets
his
the
arm
teacher,
is
they're
like
yeah,
super
that's-
buff.
And they're like, Quagmire, where you been? He's like, I've I've been around. And he like comes out, he's just, his arm is just jacked, like absolutely jacked. Oh man, I got ones for days. You're like a Charger from Left 4 Dead. You ever play the Left 4 Dead series?
Oh my
Yes,
God,
he's like a
yes.
Charger from Left 4 Dead. One of their arms is like a T-Rex arm, the other one's like massive, and they just charge at you full speed and lay you out on the ground. That's what you
Bro,
are.
that
It's crazy.
what
well,
in the
I'm not going to
world?
rag on you, Isaiah. I have respect for you.
Bro, there are gonna be so many viewers of mine who are gonna be fan favorites of you, and that concerns me of my viewers because it's all for the wrong reasons.
Come on over, niggas. Come on over. The water's fine.
Come to the dark side.
We have hentai.
Destroy the child.
Yo, I'm surprised you haven't started your own channel and like reviewed every single one. You could honestly make a channel out of that.
Well, that's what I'm going to turn this one into.
Oh shit! It's a hostile takeover. Anarchy. All right, I'm gonna run through mine real quick,
goodness.
and then we'll do a rapid fire. So this one had to do with Berserk, being you are the masked man. So the three are Guts is my favorite character in Berserk out of all of them. Number 2 is I have the mindset that Griffith did nothing wrong. And number 3 is that Zod is my favorite apostle.
Oh, okay. So one of these is a lie.
Of course.
So there has to be. There's no. You know what? You're very possibly someone who is a big Griffith fan, and I would respect it. I'm gonna go with number 1 because if you're number 2, I'm leaving the call. And number 3 is Zod is. I mean, I don't really know any other candidates outside of Zod other than maybe like Grumbeld, Irvine, Rakshas. Zod is kind of like the guy, the apostle. So I'm gonna go with number 1. I think Griffith is probably your favorite character. That's the lie. Guts is your favorite character in Berserk.
Okay. Okay.
Homie.
So wait.
homie, you. come
Wait.
on.
Which one did you say was the lie?
Guts being your favorite character.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Do we have any takers over here, my compatriots on my right and left?
Oddly enough, I'm feeling my man's vibes, what he talked about, and I think I'm gonna piggyback off of what he said, and that's Guts is your favorite character. Once you said it, I
You
was
think
like,
that's a lie?
I think it's a lie. Yeah, I don't know why. I have that feeling.
Isaiah.
That's crazy. I didn't hear a word he said because I was changing the battery. So I'm going to be real with you. I'm just going to pick one
So
off
Guts
this
is my
list.
favorite character in Berserk. I am of the
That's
mindset
true.
that Griffith did nothing wrong, and
That's true. Last one's a lie.
No, that is not true. Griffith did so much wrong. Are you kidding
Okay,
me?
we're
I'm
good.
so upset.
Yeah.
Oh, Griffith did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
My bad. All right. It's
Would
fine.
you
Oh
pick
no! Wait,
that
I
one? Yeah.
picked wrong because I was listen. No. Because the way I was trying to deduce it.
Because you threw me off because you're like, you don't strike me as someone who really likes
Yeah,
Griffith. And
no,
you're like, probably that one's
No,
true.
I
I'm
was
like,
I
what?
was thinking. Well, you probably strike me as someone who, despite Griffith being your favorite character, you understand he did a lot wrong. So I was picking
I thought
2
it
of them
said-
as
yeah.
lies. Too late, I messed
Okay.
up. But yeah, I'm glad you don't think Griffith did nothing wrong. Okay, we're cool.
No, he did
yeah.
so much wrong.
That's
my
what makes.
friend.
I think when you say Griffith did nothing wrong, you actually take away what makes his character so compelling, which is he is a tragic character.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree, 1,000%.
Right.
Guts is 100% my favorite character throughout anime and just manga.
Yes, sir.
100%.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like that Berserk changed my life, and Guts in particular, like insane.
Totally.
But Griffith, I actually like as an antagonist.
Oh, he's great.
And I really I can't say I understand fully because nobody could fully understand somebody else, especially a fictional character. But I can relate to why Griffith wants to do things like his overwhelming sense of ambition.
It didn't come
is
out of
almost
nowhere.
inspiring.
It was well done.
Yeah, it's like kind of crazy how like driven
so I
this
was
dude
right?
is. What's that?
I was right.
No. He definitely did do something wrong though. Or wait, what did you say?
I said you said the lie, like pick a lie. So
Yeah.
the lie would be that he did like this statement is that
okay,
he did
yeah,
nothing
that is the lie.
Yeah.
I am not of the mindset that Griffith did nothing
Okay,
wrong. Yeah,
I
he
was
definitely
right.
did
That's all I
so
wanted to
much
know.
wrong. But he is a definitely incredibly compelling character and like almost borderline inspirational. And before I knew he was gonna totally betray everyone, I actually would say like him and Guts were like neck and neck for my favorite one.
That's
Yeah.
honestly what kind of confused me because I
Yeah.
know you were like back and forth and you had like a weird thing. All right.
Yeah,
either way, I'll
before
take
the
that
whole
L.
thing went like really down,
Yeah.
like went down south, I was like, dude, Griffith is inspiring, dude.
Yeah.
But then Guts is like just so much more human and makes the right decisions and not the like there's a whole thing.
Right.
But yeah, and Zod is just a fucking badass, dude. Zod is so badass as the apostle. Like first of all, when he takes it from minor spoiler coming up, Gavin, you can just cover yours. When he kills the guy from the black dogs.
Oh, yeah,
or the
wild.
mad dogs. Yeah, dude, that scene
was
right
wild,
there was
yeah.
like Zod is alpha. Zod is actual alpha.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, that was some crazy
Okay.
shit. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, all right, we're gonna throw a couple of these out here. We didn't really put too much crazy thought into this game or whatever. Not gonna lie, that was an absolute blast.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I had a
yeah.
lot of fun doing
Dog,
that. Was
four,
fun.
how many minutes?
For that.
Repeat, hold on. I want to
oh, man,
write
I'm
this
even-
number down. I want to write this number down.
I don't even remember the number myself. All right, you
yeah,
ready?
yeah, I'm ready.
420,400 or wait. 420,000 4,800. What the fuck is this number?
Give me your phone. Four.
You didn't put commas, did
Wait.
you?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
That
you guys
always
both-
fucks me up.
420,480. I think you added an extra zero because you're going into like the millions at this point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was
so
about to
that
say
would be
because I
insane.
thought he said 420,480. I was like, dog, what?
I was like, dog. yeah, about
Bro.
8 years worth. You're wild,
Bro,
dude. That's crazy.
You have a credit card number, basically, like a little more, and you have a phone number for the amount of time you've spent. Bro, you best dog. You, oh my goodness, I don't
My
even
name
know.
is Isaiah Keys, and I am a degenerate.
I expect you to be able to draw all sorts of things from memory with that much. Like I don't. This guy knows. I just can't. So hold on. Hentai and then ecchi, like as in reading, right? So like, do you mean like mangas as well, like hentai mangas, or just?
Yep, manga and anime.
Oh, actually, yeah, that.
He's a connoisseur.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
he said.
Oh, what? Yeah, I'm not gonna ask. Okay, well, moving on.
That's usually where it stops.
Yeah.
It's so great. Like the thing that we love about our show and that a lot of our viewers and fans like about our show is that we really encompass three very contrasting opinions at times. And like there are times where we can align and have like a very similar taste in things, and there's things that like Isaiah and I agree with, but then Isaiah and I will disagree, and then Gavin and I will agree with, and etc. And that's what kind of makes the funny dynamic, because if you would ask anything like hentai or ecchi, like for Gavin and I, especially hentai, like not my thing. Like I've tried it, and I've like become a little more open to reading it and stuff like that. Like I tried, but like I know Gavin does not mess with that at all. And it's like we each have our own thing that, you know what I mean, that we
Yeah.
really like, we love and stuff in the show. So I don't know, it's kind of cool. But anyway, listen, The Masked Man, we have taken quite enough of your time, but I'm not gonna lie, this was a blast of a conversation. I
was.
hope you had as
Thank you.
good of a time as we
Totally.
did, because that was so much fun going through. And I'm hoping that a lot of people that listen or watch this will be able to be inspired by all it is that you've said, and can get some help and value out of this. But I also hope that you guys were thoroughly entertained and you had a good time, because I know sure as shit that we are, and we were. And, you know, I can't wait to see where your channel goes in the future. I can't wait to see where our channel goes in the future. And I would love to be able to collaborate with you. We would love to be able to collaborate with you again at some point or another. So our doors are always open on our channel. If you ever want to do anything, you know, just say the word, and you know, I'm so down. I'm there. You know.
Thank you.
But yeah, no, 100%.
Amen.
Blast, dude.
Yeah.
Complete blast.
So
Yeah,
real quick, my friend, for anyone who is new or is going to be a new fan to your channel, wants to get to know you a little bit more, where can people find you?
You can just my channel, The Masked Man, or I also recently just got a Twitter due to me trying to reach out to Team YouTube because they're incompetent. You could also follow me
a whole nother
on
podcast.
Twitter, which is Manga Masked, capital M, no spaces, so capital M, or Manga, capital M Masked. So you can follow me there on Twitter as well. So yeah, that's pretty much where people can find me. My DMs
Awesome.
are always free.
Awesome, my man. That's sick, man. Well, again, thank you so much for your time, and thank you everyone who was watching and listening today. Make sure if you guys like this video, if you like the content, that you are liking, subscribing, hitting that notification bell, sharing with your friends, and commenting your thoughts down below. What did you think of our discussion? Were you entertained? Did you learn something from it today? And definitely go check out The Masked Man on YouTube for all of your manga, all of your Berserk related needs. You will not regret it. But until next time, we will catch you all on the flip. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace.
Hey, hey, you know what it is, dog. Ninjas are samurais, blazing the kunais. Find me in the leaf of the cloud, screaming out Bankai. We just some ghouls though, who like seeing parts fly.
I hope that wasn't too long. My girlfriend's gonna fucking shoot me.